I got fired from Walmart, even though I never worked there, plus a 5-year update. So, about 4 years ago, I was working selling solar panel systems. The job required me to wear khakis and a blue polo when I was meeting with clients. One day, after a meeting, I stopped by the local Walmart to get more pens and a notepad for my work bag. I was pretty consistently asked if I worked there by other customers, and I'd usually help if I knew what they needed, but I always told them that I didn't work there. Everyone was usually pretty understanding. So, on this particular day, I grabbed my supplies and went through the self-checkout. As I was leaving, I heard someone say behind me, "And just where do you think you're going?" Now, I try to mind my own business as much as possible and don't like getting involved in other people's drama. When I hear outbursts like that in public, I assume it's not directed at me. Plus, I try to follow the rules as much as possible. In this case, I had paid for everything, so I kept walking towards my car. Roughly 30 feet from my car, I heard again, "Hey you, stop." I turned around at that one, because that's typically what you say to a thief. A Walmart employee, who could only be described as a Karen, was marching towards me, looking extremely angry. She started yelling at me about abandoning my shift and how I wasn't supposed to leave for another 3 hours. I stood there bewildered because I genuinely had no idea what she was talking about. I tried to tell her I didn't work there, but she wouldn't let me get a word in. Eventually, she said, "Forget it, you're fired." I waited about 5 seconds and said, "I don't work here. I've never worked here." She stared at me, muttered sorry, and ran back inside. I'm still not sure what happened, but that's my tale of being fired from a job I never had. Fast forward almost 3 years. I found out I was banned from that Walmart. The manager in the story apparently had a memory like an elephant, and she was still working there. I went in to pick up a few things and return one item for my wife. I was waiting in the return line, and the person in front of me was having an issue, so the employee called for a manager. It was the same lady, Gertrude. I recognized her immediately, and it turned out she recognized me, sort of. She pointed at me and told me I wasn't allowed to shop at this Walmart, and if I didn't leave, she'd call the police. I asked why I was banned, and she said she didn't remember, but she knew I was. So I left. My wife and I were shocked about this for a couple of days. And now, the final update from 5 years after the initial incident. My family recently moved to a new neighborhood around the corner from that Walmart. After meeting the new neighbors, I found out one of them worked there. I told her the story because I still thought it was hilarious, and she told me that Gertrude had been arrested and fired. Apparently, she had a history of arbitrarily banning people, just like she did to me, but nobody ever really complained, so nothing ever got done. She was just shifted from department to department. Then, one day last year, she got a little too aggressive with an off-duty cop and tried to forcefully remove her from the store, which led to Gertrude punching the cop. She was arrested and finally fired. My neighbor and most of her co-workers rejoiced. So my ban has been lifted. Karma is a beautiful thing.